Oh, hello, hello.
Hi.
Welcome.
Look, I'm not even. Okay, here we go. Okay. And figure it out.
So I am a little too excited, so I'm going to take a minute. Ground myself. Whew. I usually like to start off everything that I do with gratitude. So no different than any other, instance. I'm going to start off with, and you guys are welcome to as well, share what you're grateful for today, right? I'm not going to do my whole grounding session, definitely want to do the gratitude. So I am grateful, one, for all of you amazing souls that are a yes to me tonight into this experience. So that is my first gratitude. But I'm also very, very grateful for momentum and alignment because as creators, you do a lot, right? You move a lot, you think a lot, you create a lot, and sometimes it either does not come into fruition or takes a long time to come into fruition, right? And so I've been moving and working for a long time, and I'm really, really grateful that at this juncture, I feel the momentum, like actually moving, and I'm really, really, really grateful for that. So that is what I'm grateful for today.
Yes. I'll go next.
Okay.
I'm super grateful for the abundance, even in the midst of all that's happening. And even though there are things that come that are here to test you and help you heal and help you grow, I'm still unbelievably grateful for where I am and where I'm being shown that I'm about to go. Even in the midst of all this craziness, when you can't see, how things are going to kind of fix themselves. So I'm super grateful. Super grateful.
I love it. Thank you.
Well, I am extremely grateful for awareness. Being able to see when there's so much that comes to blind you, when there is so much that comes to just try to, shake you off your track, but being able to just anchor in self and to see beyond, that has helped me peer through a lot of the things that are coming our way collectively and individually. So awareness is a gift. It's a gift, and I'm grateful for it.
Thank you. I'm making way for Uni. She just made it, so I'm making some space. Sorry about the just put in that chair right there. Awesome. So we are putting the goodness of all our collective. Okay, so she said it's not connecting, but she's still working. Okay, so we're waiting for Breeze to connect. Until then, we are going to just get started. Welcome, Uni.
Hello, everyone.
What's up?
How you gonna get? Listen, we gotta sit back.
I can't see.
I gotta push it back some. There you go.
Oh, that's what it is. Go ahead.
All right.
Let me hold that jacket. Let me hold that blazer.
See, this is custom. My Vietnamese mother housemate.
Nice.
So you didn't miss much, but we want you to share what you're grateful for.
Ooh, I am grateful for divine timing. It always is there. That's all. Thank you.
You have to get closer than I thought.
Okay.
It's okay. Right. So I'm so grateful for this space tonight. Thank you guys so much for doing that. Obviously, Valentine's Day is Sunday, but also we don't celebrate Valentine's Day. My baby said Valentine's Day is every day.
Okay.
So and I believe that, and I'm in alignment with that. But February is Love Month. It's Black Love Month. And this is on my spiritual walk anyway. So I really wanted to bring together some minds that I admire around love and intimacy, all the things in between. Because I feel like, especially during these times, these are conversations we need to be having, right? Conversations around spiritual love, and conversations around the possibility of polyamory, conversations around platonic intimacy. These are things, one, that are dear and near to my heart. I feel like some of these things can save folks' lives, okay? So that's another story. But I'm really, really grateful for this space. And we're gonna allow folks to ask questions at the end. So definitely, guys, if you hear something that intrigues you, if you want to ask a further question about anything that you said, just put it in the comments. We will definitely get to them at toward the end, okay? So we're gonna get started with platonic intimacy. So one of my, I've been sing the praises of platonic intimacy for like the past 2 years, 2 to 3 years, because I feel like it's one of those things that can save your relationship, right? So what do you first? What do you guys think about platonic intimacy? Have you heard that term? Do you believe in it? How do you feel about it?
Say it again. I can't hear you so well. You sound
yeah.
Yeah,
a
come
bit
closer.
far.
There may be some interruption with your mic.
Hmm.
Yeah, it did advise that if we would put on headphones, that could, possibly, but it's just probably just a distant, whatever.
So just
That's
add
fine.
it again because we couldn't hear you well.
I have some too, but we can't both these headphones. You know what I mean? Or maybe we can.
Put one in one ear, one in the other.
I know that's right.
So I was asking about platonic intimacy. Have you guys heard the term? How do you feel about it?
Okay, now I got you. You want to go first, Parker, or you want me to start?
Go for it.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that. I am all for platonic intimacy, but if I'm being truly my most authentic self, it's a challenge if you're in a relationship, because depending on if you've done enough healing for yourself, or if your partner hasn't done the healing, it could quickly turn into jealousy, and you want them and they're better, and it's really not about that. And you posing that question had me think about my childhood. I had a lot of course, I wasn't having sex then, but I really had really great girlfriends, and we would hit each other on the butt, and we would hug and sleep in the same bed. And it really helped me develop my friendships, and I really enjoyed it. But as I got older, I find that it can be challenging to do that, because you just want to express yourself and be your authentic self. And then it became more of a challenge once I realized I was a lesbian. So now there's women who are straight who think I want them. And I'm like, no, I just like the closeness and you know what I mean? And it's not me trying to sleep with you. So it can be a challenge, but it's really rewarding if you can allow yourself to get that close to someone and really share without having the insecurities and all that stuff come into play.
How's it sound now from us?
Great.
Yay, and you can see us both, and we don't have to be like this.
Yes. Breeze coming in
Awesome.
really.
And Breeze is here. Hi, Breeze. All right. Technical difficulties, be gone. So, awesome. Yes, that's so true, Denise, and that's one of the pieces that I was kind of like opened up by this concept about. It's like it's restricting, right? So you think. And interesting, I feel like, honestly, for me, platonic intimacy led me to my identity as a polyamorous person, right? Because you have these connections with these people, right? And they're friends, but it's sometimes it's deeper, than what your average relationship looks like with your friend. It's like, I feel like we don't allow ourselves to explore so many things, which is why we're here tonight. There's so many different conversations that are going to come tonight that people probably have never even thought about, right? But they have these feelings and these things going on, don't know how to put, don't have a name to put to them, or don't know how to actually start the conversation. But I feel like platonic intimacy is one of those spaces where it's about freedom, right? It opens up the possibility for so much. Welcome, Breeze. We are talking about our thoughts around platonic intimacy. Like, do you have any thoughts about it? Have you heard of the term? And if you have, like, what it means for you, what do you think about it?
Well, okay. I'm excited to be here, y'all. Sorry for the technical difficulties.
It's okay.
No, I have heard of the term. I've heard the words, and I put together platonic and intimacy, and I just kind of, I don't know. It's almost, to me, it's something that is just indicative of how I am as a friend with almost all of my friends, all of my friendships.
Ditto.
Feel intimate, regardless of sexuality or preferences among the different people involved, and kind of have a holds no bars openness in them. And so it's just something I've come to, I wouldn't say expect, but it's just a way of being with people who I love and care about, to me. So I think that friendships are intimate. Those are some of our most important relationships, similar to family. And yeah, that's how I show up in my friendship.
Yeah, same. I love it. I love that, because it comes down to a matter of how vulnerable are you willing to be in some of your relationships, right? Because that's the deeper you get and the more vulnerable you get, the more intimacy is bred, right? And I think that when we go there and allow ourselves to be vulnerable and with the people that we hold so dear to us, it opens up the playground for so much. There's so much that's possible. Parker?
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've heard of the terms or the phrase. I'm totally down with it as just a natural. When I'm with people, I want them to feel love. I am the presence of love. What I have found myself in is that when it comes down to platonic intimacy, as in what Denise said, there takes some boundaries or there takes some maturity, and it has to come. You have to just be aware. So me loving on people and that intimacy growing and growing without sex involved, but then sometimes, sex does become involved, but then sometimes it doesn't go into a relationship. Then you catch yourself off guard because it's like, but we're friends and we have this relationship together, but then you go and you pursue someone that you want to pursue a relationship with, and it's like, but what the fuck? Like you ain't me, I thought we had something going. And so my experience with it, it showed me how I needed to operate in those spaces versus just holding on to the title of the act of it being. It showed me the maturity that I needed to come to the table with in that. So yeah, I heard of it, and it matured me really quick when I'm interacting with people.
Yeah, definitely. You want to put your spiel in before we move on?
For sure. I tend to have very, very solid friendships with people. And anytime I don't, it's a big mistake if we go any further, because it's not on a solid foundation. To me, the friendship is the foundation of any relationship, period. So there have been times where I've wanted things to maybe go in a sexual direction and they didn't. And in the immediate, I was like, oh, why? I'm tight. And then in the long term, I'm like, oh, this is why, because that actually would have messed up or stunted what this could have been. Right. So I almost feel like the universe be intervening sometimes, like, nah, you don't need to do no extra nothing with them. Like, you'll see why. You'll feel me, like, trust what's happening right now. And then you wind up having a really beautiful foundation with folks. I think that's very important for anybody, especially now. You never know who you're going to need and, how to give that reciprocity. You learn those boundaries sometimes in those friendships that aren't meant to be relationships or in general, you know what I'm saying? So I really value platonic intimacy more than I ever have now, honestly.
Absolutely. I think, like, similar to what Bree said, it's my way of being. Like, I am love. Love is my way of being. It's challenging for me to not be have platonic intimacy with my friends. So it's weird because it's like you have to gauge how even not necessarily even like people that I'm in deep relationships with, but even like as you're cultivating, you meet somebody, you vibe with them, you're feeling them, and it's like, okay, so how do I turn this off? Because how I love is strong, it's heavy, it's deep, it's I'm a caretaker. Like, I tend to the people that I love and care about. When, like, back in the day, a lot of folks thought I was poly before I was actually poly. They was like, wait, is that your partner? Is that your partner? Is that your... No, everybody that I love is going to get this love, this, like, and so it's like having to gauge how comfortable other people are has been like kind of one of the things in my experience with platonic intimacy. Because, like, I don't want you to feel like I'm overstepping, but, like, I love you, and this is how my love looks. So it's like, so I'm very, very grateful because everybody is not in alignment with platonic intimacy. Some people are very like, my friend is my friend, my lover is my lover, and everything's so cut and dry. And I live in the gray, so I'm like, and not necessarily the sex piece. I think a lot of people think that the sex always has to be a piece of it, and it doesn't. If it does happen, cool, we're adults, figure it out. But I think there's something beautiful about being intimate without sex. It's just, first of all, it's grown as sexy to me. And it's so much more deep. Like, I don't know. I think it's beautiful. But anyway.
I'm right with you. Wanting to be my authentic self because I'm doing the work and understanding that other people just aren't there. And I want to, if you collect butterflies, I saw a butterfly, I'm going to get you a butterfly. It doesn't mean I'm trying to sleep with you.
Absolutely.
And sometimes I want to share, and I find myself, sometimes I have to pull back because they aren't there. Not that it's, they have to be there, but I feel like then I can't be my authentic self, and the friendship will naturally fizzle out because I want to be able to express this love and growth
Really.
and especially now, like I'm single right now. So that platonic intimacy is great because you can't meet people with these masks on. So it's like, I want to be around my friends to kind of get that, let's connect, let's share. And knowing that it can just be that, and I'm not trying to take your girlfriend away from you. I can share with her too. Bring her in the fold.
Yes.
And so
Big old love fest.
Yeah, I'm having. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's okay. It's okay. Go ahead.
Well, no, I was just saying, listening to both of you, I do think of times where my openness, the fact that I practice naturism a lot of times and things like that. So me being comfortable being naked around my friends, me being comfortable like with those sorts of things, those don't necessarily translate to sex or any sort of sexual encounter for me where we're actually physical with each other, but I can still be very sensual. That's because that's how I am. Exactly. And so being that way with different friends has definitely caused some mistakes or missteps, especially when I was younger, in terms of people's unspoken boundaries, because from my perspective, it was all good about a week ago, right?
A week ago.
All of a sudden, I'm hearing from them, well, I had to step back because I realized I was falling for you and you don't feel that way about me. And I'm like, wow, like, things like that have definitely.
How did we get here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about when you're friends with people and then I see in the comments people saying like, oh, well, I thought y'all was together. You mean y'all not together? Like, no, we have no desire on being together. But yes, I love being naked around my friends as well, right? Like that's like a thing. Like if you know me, I'm probably going to be naked at some point, but it has nothing to do with sex. It's just like you said, just being able to be yourself and feel comfortable, right? And I feel like the best friendships are the ones you feel comfortable being your fullest authentic self around. You know what I'm saying? And if not that, then like we just associates, as far as I'm concerned.
For real. I also think that I say this jokingly, but I also mean it to lean in on platonic intimacy to help your actual romantic relationship, because a lot of times, especially depending on your love languages and your partner's love languages and how matched you are with their love language in terms of like the intensity of them, sometimes you can be a bit much for your partner in a number of different ways. And I feel like those platonic intimate friends and friendships really can support your actual ship. You know what I mean? Because the things that you want and need, and the different areas, the give and take with your partner. So it's like, okay, let me go. I know I need some physical touch. Let me go on and chill with Denise for a little bit. Because I know babe's tired of me all up under her. Or, I know that whatever the thing may be, I think that and I know that it's not that we don't do these things, but I feel like we frame it differently, but I feel like we can get so much more out of it if we really become open and like leave the space open for possibility in that area. Mm-hmm. Any other thoughts before we move on? Thank you guys for joining and commenting. I appreciate you being here. I will continue to show your comments as they come in. Thank you. So the next topic we're going to move into, one of my favorites now, spiritual love and the spiritual purpose of relationships. So I have Parker on here tonight, Parker Bryan, because I love the way Parker shows up in the world. I have the pleasure of actually being in village and in family relationship with Parker, and I'm very, very grateful for that. But all of the guests tonight, I love how they show up and walk in the world, especially in their particular areas, right? And so for me, when I think about spiritual love, when I came up with the concept for this show, there was nobody else that was going to talk with me about spiritual love and besides Parker. Because if you guys follow her, and she'll let you know where to follow her, you'll see resonates love all up and through the universe, and it makes my soul so happy. So thank you for being a yes, Parker. And we're going to move into spiritual love and the spiritual purpose of relationships. And I want to get you sharing all your tea about your insight to how you feel about these different things. And so yeah, introduce yourself to the people a little bit more, and then we'll go into spiritual love.
Hey, so as it says, I am Parker Bryant. I started being a better lover in 2015, and I started it because one, I saw this couple, and they were sitting on the couch, and they were having it was like a therapy session, and I was in the background because I was kind of like on the production team, and to hear the pain between these two individuals and the intentional pain, but then their quest for love in the same setting, I was just like, something is wrong here, right? And also in 2015, I started my own journey of healing. So I found myself teetering back and forth between my spiritual journey and my relationship. And somehow, some way, they kept coming perpendicular to each other. And I was like, well, if I'm on an awakening journey, why do I still have shitty ass relationships? Like what? Like what is going on? And so once I realized that it wasn't separate, and so the things that I learned in the church, and when you come out as a queer person, you hide your love and you hide relationships from your spiritual life, because you put on a mask in one area, and then once this, and then this person. But when it didn't get the balance, then I knew that there was a problem. And so I knew that love is. And if love is, then this shit has to show up in my relationship as well. And so just as much as I wanted to be transparent with spirit, just as much as I wanted to be healed, I had to also show up that way in my relationship. So I had to start being extremely transparent to, no, I'm carrying shit from my past relationship, and this is how it's showing up here in this relationship, versus going the other route of saying like, this is different and it's because we have fucked up situations. So my relationship or my love practice, and I don't even attach to practice anymore because I'm in the motherfucking game.
I know that's right. I know that's right. I start to allow my lover to be my altar as well. And so somebody write that down. Somebody put that in the comments.
Because I'm taking notes here. You said my lover be my what?
Altar.
My altar.
Yeah.
Like it just aligned with it. And so all of the healing that happened in my closet on my mat, I took those same practices into my relationship. So when I found the fear of losing love because of my father, I then showed up to my relationship. It's like, this is why I'm holding on so tight to you. When I realized that there was abandonment and there was all of these things, the need to be in control, because I felt like a lot of shit was out of control. And these things I'm finding on my spiritual journey, then it shows up in your romantic relationship. And I could have stayed behind a veil and allowed the relationship to do its own thing and continue to see them spiral and whatever. So I just dropped love as a religion, because love as a religion then tied me to having to devote to a way of being or performative work versus just surrendering to the healing process that love brings to you.
You gotta preach, Walker.
I mean, and since that awakening and since that awareness, it's just so expansive. Like there's so much creating in love space, in the realm of my relationship and my lovership, because I don't come trying to hide or trying to be. I am all that I am. And then when it hurts, I show you where it hurts. And then I know how to say it hurts and it's not you, it's me. And may I heal in front of you. And being okay with healing in front of your partner.
Yes. That's huge. That's so huge. Whew. Okay, we're done, guys. Good night.
All right.
That was so good, Parker. Thank you. Do you guys follow Marianne Williamson?
Yes.
Anybody? So my deeper work with, because I've always felt that love is a spiritual journey. It's a healing journey, right? Back to self, into other selves that are just reflections of yourself in, different bodies. But came into Marianne Williamson about 5 or 6 years ago. Changed my life. Just leveled up in terms of understanding spirit and love. And so I subscribe to her definition of the spiritual purpose of relationships, because I do believe that we are all divinely assigned, which she also believes. But she says that the spiritual purpose of relationships is actualization, collaboration, and service. And so what she means by that is two actualized individuals. So we've been doing the work, and or we're continuing to do the work, because it's a lifelong journey, right?
Yeah.
And then collaboration. So the two actualized people coming together to collaborate, which is what our relationship should be, right? Not necessarily you seeking to get something or gain something or, these things, but actually like coming together to collaborate for a greater purpose, for the higher good. And then once that collaboration is established, to be in service together, which I think is absolutely beautiful. And it applies to all relationships, right? So your friendships, your romantic relationships, your at your job, with your business, like having that perspective on just a higher, deeper meaning of the ships, it takes it to the next level. And it makes you grow up a lot. Because when you have to remove yourself and your little, I want this, I need that, when you actually thinking about, hey, we're up to some big work here. We're trying to change the world. Like we're trying to like leave our print on this planet before we leave. How we get that popping, and you can't be concerned with the fact that she didn't run my back last night. So I wanted to just ask you guys, what do you think about that concept of the spiritual purpose of relationships? Have you had experience? I feel like Parker kind of just gave the sermon, so obviously we know that Parker operates from a place of spiritual purpose of relationships. But how do you guys feel about that? Have you had experience with your ships being of a spiritual, divine nature all your adult life, or are you just coming into it? What is your experience with spiritual relationships, spiritual love?
Breeze, do you want to go? If not, I will.
Go
I
ahead.
think
Okay. I can truly relate to all that Parker had to say. I was like, yes, you're talking to me. Mine came at a very late age. So I'm getting ready to be 44.
And you don't look it, girl.
Yeah. And I started this journey probably just a few years ago. And it was a journey happening all along, but I think I really dug in and started to do the work once a significant relationship ended. And I had to really sit with myself and figure out what happened in it. And what I discovered is that I wasn't healed. I was raped. I never dealt with that. I just told my family that happened to me 2 years ago. I was trying to deal with that on my own, thinking that, it was my fault and how did I let that happen and those types of things. I had to really come to terms with my weight. I got up to 300 pounds. And it was because I didn't want that thing to happen to me again. Therefore, I was like, well, I can control this. I'm going to eat. I'm going to be just cute enough so that I can be in a relationship, but not cute enough so someone thinks they can do that to me again. And not feeling like I could express that in my relationship. And it had nothing to do with them. It all had to do with me, because it's not about blaming them. No. They wanted to show up, and I showed up in certain areas that I decided was okay to show up because I hadn't done the work. And so now that I've done the work, things have just been flourishing so amazingly. And I'm so thankful for the patience of the relationships that were significant, that were there for me, even though I wasn't able to truly be there for myself. So in my singleness, I've been able to take the time and dissect each thing. And I had my amazing Eat, Pray, Love experience in Bali by being able to stay there 5 weeks. And I left all that shit there. And it's so amazing to connect with Mama Bali, which is Mother Earth there, and say, okay, I realize and recognize the part that I played. And so now I can show up more authentically. So those things were happening that you just said, Nina, but they weren't happening on a scale that really got me where I needed to be. It was happening, but it was happening at a much slower pace. And so now I can say the relationships I have now, I'm more authentic. No, I don't feel like doing that. I know how to say no. I know how to, I need some time to myself. I need to take care of myself, self-love, self-care. I love me. I am love. So yes, I understand all that you said, Parker. And so I'm excited to be on that journey now. And it was for me to do it now. So it's me not needing to say, oh, I should have done it, 10 years ago. No, I have to trust the timing of my life and know that it was supposed to happen at this time so that now I can be here with you all today sharing this exact thing.
True.
Thank you for your vulnerability. That was a powerful share. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for listening.
It something that you said kind of sparked something that Parker shared for me that I want you to elaborate on a little bit more. A clean emotional dwelling for love. That's something that you one of the insights that you shared with me, Parker. Can you elaborate on that a little bit more? That's what I kind of got from what Denise just mentioned a little bit. Is that kind of what you're?
Yes. I liken our love house to in the Bible. It says something about like the house of God or something. And so you know how you have the outer courts and the inner courts and the holies of holies, right? And so when I would go to relationships, right, my exes would show up in spirit, but they wouldn't be physically there. And I'm like, what is going on? This relationship is gone, or even if we're still friends, but something was still happening, like a trauma or something like that will come up. And a clean emotional house for me is making sure that your dwelling is clean for, let's just say Denise and I were to engage in relationships, right? And she needs a clean house to heal.
Yes.
Just as if I'm going to heal in front of her, when she has healing, I need to make room for her healing. So I need to make sure that my house is clean and I'm not carrying injury or wound from previous situations, because what she may need from me may trigger something that someone left in my house. And so then I don't give her enough space to have what she needs. And so when I think about someone coming into relationships and we may carry visible wounds or wounds that we don't know, I think about having clean linen for you to lay down. I think about having a clean tub. I think about having a clean space and where you can look around and you can see like this can be my healing space versus I don't know if it's enough room in here for me to heal. So now automatically you put the walls, you ain't revealing yourself. So to have a clean emotional house is to just make sure that if you are going to bring someone else in your space, and you know that we all need space for healing, because as you said, Nina, it's ongoing.
Yes.
Like I don't want to be triggered when she needs healing space. That's all.
Yeah.
I'm telling y'all, listen,
you just
preach. Let me put this up. Yes,
I could have just been
you should have just had on your robe. You should have had on your robe tonight, Parker.
Yo, I threw my clergy thing away like 9 years ago.
I love it. Yes.
Y'all ain't tell me it was gonna be church on a Friday night. I would have
love church.
Yeah. This morning,
speaking of another concept that you share with me that I want you to elaborate on is love without religion. Parker, that's something that you live by. What does that love without religion mean for you?
I don't know. I said it earlier a little bit, but so I got into the conversation of poly. I don't know if this can segue into it or whatever.
That's next. Bring it on.
I got into the conversation of poly and me being, I don't even know if I was to proclaim a monogamous person, but then I saw something about serial monogamy and all of this other shit that's out. And I'm like, well, I don't know. And so just grappling with this, understanding, and again, making sure that I don't have things inside of me that will prevent me from having love experiences with people who may not carry the same views as I do, or I don't carry the same views as them. I had to make sure that that trauma from being cheated on and all that other shit like that was out of my love house. And in that, I was like, well, if I don't claim poly, then, well, not claim, but if I don't identify with poly, then I must be monogamous. But then if I'm not monogamous, then I must be poly. And then all of the things in there, like, you know, it's like polarities that have to happen in your mind. And so I was like, why don't I just drop all of that?
All the labels. Yes.
Just drop trying to attach myself to the word, because the word is nothing but a signpost anyway. Once you get to the experience, it's like, it's the experience. We don't need I don't need something to say who I am.
Yes.
So I just said, let's not do love as a religion. Let's just do love.
Yes.
Just do that.
Yes. You are everything and you are nothing. With one
Yes.
you may want to be poly. With another, you like, we're so connected. I just want to be monogamous. Who cares about the label and having to fit in this box?
Yeah, absolutely.
That gets you in trouble.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly. Allow yourself to, I mean, just go.
Freedom.
Just go. And
the flow.
you don't have to show up to something because you've attached to it. If I have to defend something, then my attachment to that ego, I don't want to be there. I don't want to be there. So I just backed away from it. I'm not doing anything religiously. When I wake up, I decide to love, and I co-create with the woman that I'm co-creating with, and we do good things together.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a mic drop right there.
I wish we had a plate to pass around.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Cashapp.
Yes, I love this because I don't think I'm poly. Although I just want to love and explore. Yep, freedom. Freedom. I love it. That brings us to our beautiful sharing. Do you guys you have it up for us to read our parts, or guys want me to just read it all?
Oh, we read the parts now? Okay.
We're about to, yeah. I want to share this beautiful.
Oh, you printed yours out.
Okay.
so thorough. I love it. So this we're about to read Life of a Million Lovers, and this I came across several years ago when I was really trying to figure out what was going on with me and my love language in terms of how I wanted to operate. Not necessarily the test where you take and you have all those gifts or quality time. Like, I knew forever and ever that monogamy was not something that was natural for me, for the animals that I watched and loved. I just knew there was something. I was like, this isn't it. It's nothing wrong with it. But there's something deeper for me, right? And so I came across this beautiful piece that we're going to read to you guys. It's called Life of a Million Lovers. And it perfectly actually describes spiritual love and platonic intimacy and polyamory all in one. And we're about to share it with you all. And I think it's absolutely beautiful and amazing. So here goes. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay. I want a life of a million lovers. I want to love you. I want to love you if you are male or female, young or old, single or married. When I see you, we will embrace and hold a hug long enough to glimpse some insight from each other's heartbeat. When we walk down the street, we shall link arms, pause frequently, and turn our toes and noses toward the others to speak directly without modesty. I would like us to share the couch together, rather than creating a do not cross line where we may as well be sitting on a brick block seated 4 feet away. Give me your knee, your foot, your thigh. Let your body dangle on top of my body so I can know you the way litters of kittens know each other.
I want to show up to you and look into your eyes instead of at your eyes. I want to feel your hand and be consumed by it until the rest of the world cease to exist. I want to be in your presence and be in want of nothing. I would like you to leave our time together feeling loved and free and full of your most vibrant and luscious hue of you-ness. Please do not get confused. I do not want to have sex with you, whether you are male or female. I have no sexual agenda, as you know, because we laugh at the freedom we feel to speak to strangers for reasons other than because we have to or because we're hitting on them. For me, sharing sex with someone requires a certain alignment, and I do not take that lightly. My sex requires that I can possibly foresee living with a person and combining all my stuff with all of their stuff. And I mean physical, emotional, cognitive, and spiritual stuff. The stuff that just feels heavy if it's not the right fit, but feels buoyant beyond imagination when it is. It is delicate, it is careful, it is not presumptuous or impulsive. And I do not think that our connection is somehow weakened because we do not share our bodies with each other. For love is love, it's love, and that's what I want.
only want us to fall in love. Now, I realize that at some point, either you or I may change our minds and crave sexual expression with each other. For I am human, as are you, and we have wants that change and grow. But if that desire should spring upon one of us, I hope that we will talk about it. The way we talk about the universe, cultural tropes, the nature of depression, what makes a good cup of coffee, and how your day was yesterday. I hope that that topic of conversation is no more avoided than talking about the latest episode of Doctor Who or how to effectively clean one's mouth from Oreo breath.
I would like you to share yourself with me, every stitch of you, so that I may be warmed and nourished by your tapestry. And I would not like you to worry that some of your threading is inappropriate or uncomfortable to share with me, because I am only here to accept you exactly as you are and to take interest in the way you step through life. So lay on me your doubts, your troubles, your faux pas, your suffering, your sadness. Lay on me your hopes, your dreams, your excitements, your curiosities, your guilty pleasures. I want to see you how you see yourself. And while you tell me all of this and more, I would like to rest my eyes upon your eyes and take my hand upon your back and laugh up to the ceiling as you divulge, because it is in these moments of pure exposure that I bask in the ever so specific you, and I become the ever so specific me. And even though you've never stepped into the tides of the Pacific and I've never ridden a skateboard, I am more sure than ever I'm more sure than I've ever been that we are the same.
I don't care if I see you every day or if only just the one time when I happen to be in that coffee shop and you happen to be making my drink, which was delicious, by the way. And thank you for not rolling your eyes at me when I asked if the only non-dairy milk you had was soy. I want to be your lover. And I will have the lover whom I share a bed with, and it will be nonetheless on the contrary, that love will be all the more because I take on another million lovers. So if you're ready, let me see you, let me love you. My insides, my arm, my yoni, my laughs, my eyes, my toes are all for you. I hope that is enough.
Yes. Thank y'all.
Okay.
That was beautiful.
I would.
I was like the love monologues. Forget the vagina love monologues.
When I first read that, I probably had a couple of tears in my eyes after. I was like, this is what I've been trying to explain. I don't even know, but I'll find the author for you.
Sure.
It was on Elephant Journal. That's where I originally found it years ago. Okay. So yeah.
I was just like, ooh, y'all can read.
First of all, can I just tell you how I was gonna have Breeze read the whole thing because I love her. I was like, let's give everybody else a chance, to share as well. But yes, that is the segue into our poly conversation, and I feel like we love you, Dawn. So, and babe, I see you, babe. I love you guys. Kay, I don't know Kay, but thank you, Kay, for being here. Yes, that literally mixes up all the goodness of the spiritual love, the platonic intimacy, and the my perspective on polyamory, how I see it all in one. And so we're going to move into the polyamory conversation. So I guess I think everybody pretty much has some insight and some thoughts. So we're not going to dominate. Although I feel like, does anybody identify as polyamorous? Like actual, I know outside of what Parker just said, burn all the labels. I'm with you. But in your active life, is that something that you, any of you actually say, yes, I am a polyamorous, queer woman or whatever have you? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you do not, Denise, and we know Parker 86 labels.
I'll wait till you chime in later. Okay.
So for those that are watching, I just want to give a very clear definition. I know there's a lot of murkiness around poly, and it's like been trending as of late, and it's a lot of confusion, a lot of crazy ideas. And so and you can chime in, but when I speak of polyamory, what I mean specifically is ethical non-monogamy, right? it's in that umbrella. Ethical non-monogamy is huge. It has. I was going to bring up the diagram, but I want to see all of our beautiful faces, and it takes up space, so I'm not. But under the non-monogamy umbrella, there's so many different types of orientations, and polyamory is just one of them. And literally by definition, the actual word just means multiple loves. That's it. It's not that deep. Literally, the word says what it is. Poly, more than one, amor, love. It's not that deep. And I feel like it gets so many, like, how do we get there from here? And so I wanted to have this conversation or include this in the conversation because I feel like the way my folks poly is very, very different than what a lot of folks are used to or see. And I feel like that's where the murkiness comes in. It's the ethical piece. So that when I see a lot of things in social media and then trending in the news, and a lot of just hear a lot of experiences that people have had, there's no ethical anywhere to be found. And that really, really, really burns people and has them turned off from the possibility of polyamory. But I want to just really kind of like shed some light. And folks, you can ask questions if you have any questions, and you guys as well, because I think there's a lot of beautiful possibilities in loving many, right? My folks in my village, in my community that happen to identify as poly, we always talk about polyamory in the light of building, right? In the light of I won't say nation building. That sounds so militant, right? But literally, you think about wealth building and economic development and just community and tribe. Nobody, like, that's who we are. We are group oriented people. We've always been that way. And so I think that really expressing love, big love, right? Love of many in a way that is ethical and consensual. We forgot to say that part. So consensual and ethical non-monogamy is the type of poly that my folks right? That's what we do. Because all that other stuff is fuckery. We call it poly fuckery. Because what is that? You know, like that's not, you know, and that's what I really feel like burns people. So I want to just open up the conversation. If you guys have any particular questions, I'm gonna you gave me some really, really good ones. Oh my gosh. So it's a lot of terms though. It's because it can get term heavy. So I don't want to confuse folks on because this is the seed planting show. We're gonna get deeper on, I'm sure, other episodes. But can you just tell us a little bit about your experience as a polyamorous person? Like, how long have you been polying, and like when did you know you're poly, and just how you poly? Like, share with the people your poly.
For sure. So hey y'all, I'm Unique. Am I the youngest person on this call? I'm 33 years old. Where do I stand with everybody? Okay, well, you both been here. Okay, shout out to the early 30 crew. But I say that because I feel like I only just got a clear understanding. I've been practicing poly since my early 20s, so I was 23. I wasn't doing it right, y'all. It was all poly fuckery.
No, so you was in that unethical,
yes, I can
non-consensual section.
So I knew that I liked multiple people. I didn't know how to go about expressing it in the right way, right? So like that piece that Parker was talking about like not being healed and not healing all of your past shit. I didn't know there was anything I needed to heal, right? When you first step into like the queer community, and back in the day, I was more masculine of center presenting, you almost get this like card where they're like, here, how many bodies can you catch? Right? So let's be real. Like, let's start there. So that's what I learned. And I'm in New York, so everybody is just on that tip. So I really thought it was about sex. And I thought it was about sex with multiple people. And so I did whatever I could to have sex and relationships with multiple people. What wound up happening, you can only imagine. It's like pull out of any Studville book as to how that went, right? It was not, it was a lot of, all of this and all of this and, oh, baby, please. It was a lot of that for me for the first, up until I was about 26, honestly. And myself and my partner, we've been together for 11 years as of last weekend.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
A lot of years.
Yeah, we grew up together. And a lot of those, again, the first few years of them 11 years was us just learning together. She, as soon as we came into a relationship, she was like, this ain't gonna be it, right? I got other interests. So I like other people. And I was like, oh no, you good, you good. We knew that we were coming into it literally as sluts. That's the term we use. We're like, we both slut, I'm a slut, boom. We're gonna slut together. But I want to be with you, so I don't care. But what I was not prepared for was to meet me and my jealousy, my possessiveness, my so like, how can you be poly and jealous It's a possibility, major possibility. And I think that there's misconceptions that say like, oh, well, if I'm poly, then, you know, there's no way for me to be jealous, or there's no way I could be jealous of you stepping out, this and that. But we don't have an understanding of, if you're not working on you at that time, that you're also attracting other people, you're bringing them into your bullshit. Yes. Right. And I've done that too.
Henceforth the fuckery.
Exactly. And I've had some, for the most part, a lot of the people that I've been in love experiences with have had my best interests at heart, but a lot of them also haven't. Right? Because when you start getting in the road of like sex and just only that being your only focus without the sacredness, you run the risk of vampirism. You run the risk of opening your body and your energy field to anybody, and you drinking and you doing whatever. Like you wake up and you like, whoa, what just happened? What was the last 2 months? Who am I? What's your name? Like, it was a lot of that. Right. And again, we think that this is the way that relationships are supposed to go when we're not checking in on ourselves. I had to look and see what kind of relationships I learned growing up, right? I'm, to be very transparent, I'm one of 3 children, and me and my sisters got different mothers, right? So that means our father is a hoe. So that means that's what I'm growing up seeing, right? My grandmother always said, "Why you setting a perfect example for your kids?" And all I saw was cheating. All I saw was people in a relationship, not in a relationship, off and on, off and on. So the message I'm getting as young unique is, okay, well, I could be in a relationship, but I also got this wandering eye, and I'm gonna just always have this wandering eye regardless. And when I started getting confident and things like that, I really started to flex that wandering eye a lot. And then it got to a point where I was at capacity and oversaturated. And there's a term polysaturated when you do too much with too many people.
You're like 10 partners.
Right. And you don't know your capacity. So I literally had to learn boundaries through not having them, right? Because I didn't grow up with them. So, my God. So it was a lot of trial and error on me and my partner's parts. A lot of her being like, we need to chill. A lot of me being like, why you stepping out? We need to chill. Like, it was, and I feel like there's been very few times in our relationship where we've both been, you know, the first few years of being poly, we were poly together. It was more of like we'll bring someone into the relationship. And the last 4 or so years has been our exploration of, okay, I think I feel safe enough for you to then go out and date someone separate from me. I'll go out and date someone separate from you. But then it becomes this balance of energies of how much time are you spending with this person, or are you able to give this person what you want? Don't be saying that you is and you're not, because that will also show up. So there's this notion that love is limitless, because it is, but there's only 24 hours in a day. So how do you work with that?
How we divvying up this time, yo?
Okay, so 7 days in a week, right? So on Wednesday, I'm gonna see you. On Friday, it becomes a lot of that, right? Exactly. So if you are not careful with your communication and open communication, it's made me a much better communicator of my feelings, of my vulnerabilities, of my fears, of my hopes. And also to be able to see the truth that I don't really feel, in my honest experience, that everybody is 100% anything, as we're saying. I don't think everybody's 100% monogamous, because every monogamous relationship I've seen, eventually somebody like trying to do a little bit of this, right? And when you're poly, there's this perception that you're always on the look and always on the hunt.
Which is so not true.
Right now, I'm actually celibate. And I don't want to see nobody else outside of, you know, my partners and, you know, partners. Like, she has a partner, and it's been the last 3 years of them, you know, becoming a thing. And then somehow we're all a thing now. So it's like, excuse me, but recognizing that those are different relationships that we're going to have with each other and with ourselves, and allowing space for those things to build, and being mindful of when you're setting boundaries that are not from a place of fear or jealousy or rooting in that, because I promise you it's going to backfire. It's going to backfire. Yeah. Somebody going to get resentful. Somebody going to get hurt, etc. But a lot of it is just talking. Your boundaries are not going to be the same always. You have to revisit those. You have to revisit comfortability, revisit consent. It's a constant recycling of your relationship and your connection, and making sure that you're okay. And I feel like a lot of monogamous people, I'm not going to speak for everybody, but it's this complacency that starts to happen, especially when you're in a long-term relationship like I've been in, where you get very, very comfortable with your partner. So I think we started to use poly for the wrong reasons, to kind of bring a spark into the relationship, when really we needed to spark our own relationship with ourselves, and then with each other. And then
come on now, come on.
Like, these are all lessons I'm learning in my 30s. You told me the shit in my 20s, it would have avoided a lot of the pitfalls. But again, I trust divine timing. I trust how everything moves, and I trust that I'm learning a lot of lessons that I am ready to learn now in terms of how much of myself I'm actually able to give, and not what I think I'm able to give because of what I want. You know what I'm saying? We always want something, but the difference between your wants and your needs, you know what I'm saying? And learning to balance those desires. So that's a lot of what I've learned in poly.
I love it.
Yes, I like that.
That's awesome.
Yes, I will say that being a lot of people think that because they like to have sex with more than one person that they're poly, right? And so they're like, okay, I'm like some poly. First of all, you have to be good at monogamy to be good at polyamory. Let's be clear. So just in case you're like having fun, I know people are like, I think I'm poly. Are you good at being monogamous first? Can you actually be in relationship with yourself and with one person and actually master that? That's one thing I want to say. And two, it takes a very, very high level of personal and spiritual development to be polyamorous. It takes a very high level of communication. Yes, baby. My baby said, poly won't fix a broken ship. And it's so true.
It won't. Titanic,
so true. You're talking about communication on PhD level. You know, it's not like no little, you know. So it's and I think what I think is so beautiful about it though is that like Uni was saying, it takes constant revisiting, renegotiating, actually having conversations about what you feel, what you think consistently, which is something that people do not do, which is how they wound up 40 years later, like, why am I still with you?
Yeah.
You didn't year 10 say, hey, let's have a sit down and check in. I'm sorry, but I think that relationship should have, you know how you get a renewal for your lease? And they ask you, you're going, I think the same thing should happen. Why not? We're doing a big thing called life together. So I really feel like people need to understand that it's not, you know, just about, I think one of the things that people really, really get misconstrued is that polyamory is about sex. The word is polyamory, love, that piece. It's not just, you know, you can have some partners in poly and you not even have sex with them. There's so many different ways to connect with people, which is what I love about polyamory, because it allows you to be free and to open up the possibilities of relationship. Because now we're saying we don't have to go by these constructs that relationships typically fit in. This is how I'm connecting with you. I recently created my own relationship connection called an artist crush or an artist. Like, for instance, there's people that you love the artists that they are. Like, you're drawn to them, you feel them, like you literally feel like this with them. You don't want to have sex with them, you know, but you have a connection with them based upon the way they are, the way they present their art, the way they are connected with their art, and it's valid. And I saw a chart that has so many different possibilities. But once again, if you're limiting your possibilities of relationship to gotta do this, gotta do that, then you're stuck and you're miserable. Like, you know, it's so I really love the possibilities that polyamory presents. Breeze, would you like to chime in on your poly journey?
I would like to chime in, and listening to you talk, the concept of just freedom really resonates with me and my poly experience and why and how I identify as poly. It's not so much about how many partners I have at any given time or whether or not either of us are relating on a more intimate level at any given time. For me, it's just about like breaking free of the norms that are assumed and expected in monogamous romantic relationships. So having the freedom to talk about attraction outside of one another with each other openly, having the freedom to talk on the phone with someone and not worry about whether or not my tone or their tone is too sweet or whatever with that friend who you're talking about. Is that going to make my partner who's overhearing upset? Like having the freedom to really just be authentic, to be platonically intimate, to do and connect with people in ways, like in artistic ways. I know for both my partner and I, we both produce a lot of different art. He works with a lot of beautiful women, styling women and creating just really empowering visuals of Black women. I would never want him to not do that. But I know that he's had experiences in romance and romantic relationships where that caused conflict. And similarly with myself and how I present as kind of a public play, coquette, sort of boudoir, little vixen or whatever. I've definitely had partners who wanted to stifle that energy, and I've let them in past relationships. And so for me and my poly journey, it's so imperative. It's so important. It's almost essential for me to be able to express myself, for me to be free from the confines of what a traditional monogamous ties mean. We don't have to be each other's everything.
Everything. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. I think
to what she just said.
Say that one more time.
May I respond to what Breeze
Absolutely.
I totally agree with you when you just like being able to be your vixen self and stuff like that. Me coming from a monogamous mindset, right? Prior to me meeting my polyamorous love style partner, there was a lot of things that I had to quickly adjust. But I think what came with me that allowed me to like assimilate myself with her is that there was no role. There is absolutely no roles. Like she can show up and be whoever the fuck she want to be that day, whether, and when we saw roles about to be established, because this is what was used to in something previous, I was like, no, we ain't gotta do that. And so I believe that's where worlds can come and co-create together when we just drop all of it. It's like, you want to take out the trash? Cool. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to slap your hand and say, no, you don't do stuff like that. Like if you laying up and you don't feel like cooking today, all right, cool. What you got to taste for? You know what I'm saying? Like there is absolutely no roles. Like you want to get fucked or you want to do the fucking, all right, let's, you know what I'm saying? Let's do it. Let's do it. There's nothing that can stop. And I believe freedom allows us to co-create together. Like there's nothing that we can't do.
No limit.
No limit.
Absolutely. I love it. I love it. I think one of the things that had me understand who I was as a polyamorous person is that when I came to the understanding that I would never ever stop I didn't feel comfortable telling someone that I said I loved and cared about that they could not explore something that was pulling at their heart.
Yes.
It just, first of all, who am I to tell you, another grown adult, that you can't do something, no matter what it is? I can't stand you. No part of being silly. But yeah, and it's funny because it was more so from a perspective of me not feeling comfortable telling someone else. I never even thought about myself at the time because I wasn't even thinking about me, but I was like, I would never want to limit someone in their expression and their freedom around love, because for me, love by definition includes freedom.
Right.
And so that was before I had the language, because all these terms, and probably is like 90 million terms. So all these terms were very new for me in my journey. I didn't know these things, but I knew that there was no way that I could rightfully say to someone, you cannot do. First of all, I could say it and they're gonna do whatever they want to do anyway, right? And so for me, the quintessential piece to polyamory is freedom. And that like you just spoke of, Parker, the co-creation, like it allows for so much possibility when you drop all the crap, right? And you're actually saying, let's create. And that's one of the things I love about poly too, is you literally are, because you're not coming with any preconceived, if you're polying in the way that we prefer to poly and people that, I'm associated with, you coming in and saying, hey, I fuck with you. Let's create some dope shit and make it our life. And then when it needs adjusting, we come to the table and adjust it and keep it moving. And then next week, if we feel something like that, is what is so beautiful. That's what I did not see present in traditional monogamous relationships. Not that it doesn't exist, because there may be some really, really dope people practicing monogamy that got on to something and do that. But I see it a lot more in the polyamorous world.
And that too that just reminds me of just the queerness of it. And I think poly, in its truest understanding, in the same way that queerness is in its truest understanding, and a deviation from the norms of relationships, the norms of sexuality, the norms of gender roles. It liberates you from all of that inherently. Now, the issue is that we are still born in a monogamous, toxically racist, toxically gender rolled society. So even though you may practice or project these ideologies that you were believing in freedom, believing in love, believing in all of this, unless you really look deep down inside and understand what that conditioning is, all of those things are going to creep out in the back door in your relationships, because that is essentially the divine trying to get you to heal that through your connection with another. And if you poly, you're going to heal that through multiple connections. There's going to be 3 fingers looking at yourself like, damn, I just thought this was about fucking. I just thought this was because you was cute. It ain't about none of that, right? That's the catch. Then the real work begins, right? That is the divine actually working through those relationships. And that is where I feel the spirituality of it comes into play, because you realize there are multiple opportunities for you to face your own self and to heal those wounds, right? Because if you got 3 motherfuckers telling you the same thing that you doing, you ain't been listening today. You can't blame them. That's, oh damn, I ain't been listening today. That's on me. I need to learn that about myself, right? So that happened with me. It was like I had to face some anger issues that I had with myself that were unhealed. And it was because things just kept coming up. We kept getting irritable and irritated at each other. And I'm like, well, damn, you know, I can't keep looking at you. It's me now, you know what I'm saying? And allowing space to really work on yourself while still being connected to someone else, and allowing room for those things to flow as they do, I think is also something that's really revolutionary about polyamory. So it again is about this notion of abundance and limitlessness.
That's the word.
And really,
abundance.
And really learning that. But you have to know that you want it, right? You have to know that that is something that you are worthy of, right? Poly really is about understanding your worthiness first. Because if not, you're really going to be in it for the wrong reasons.
Absolutely.
And you playing with people's hearts. If you poly, not just open, because remember, there's a difference between open and poly. Open is like, oh, I'm having casual sex with people. Poly is, I am in love with multiple people. When you put that love piece in there and that heart piece, you really have to know what you're doing. And like she said, you have to be advanced spiritually to understand what it means to commune with more than one person. You know what I'm saying? It's real.
You got 3 mirrors. Simultaneously looking. Listen, that's what I'm saying. People think it's so cute. Oh, want to be poly? You might not want to be poly. You're talking about PhD level relationship skills here. You know what I mean? Like, you're talking about 3 people telling you you need to get your shit handled. You need if you're vetting properly, and if you're actually in ships with people that, you know, are good for your soul development, your spiritual development. It's an opportunity, man, like no other. Do you want to tell all 3 of them they wrong?
Right.
And it's not you. You know what I mean? So it's definitely next level. I think we have a question. I was saying we're going to save the question for the end, but let's see. Can we Bridget? Hey Bridget, thank you for joining. Bridget asks, what are the forms of expressed intimacy in poly without sexual energy?
That's a wonderful question. I feel that just the ability to, first off, I think there's possibility of being able to be financially connected in a way to where
building
that ass, like I'm quite honestly right now in the process of putting a down payment on a studio space here in Baltimore City for BIPOC creatives and artists with my team, 2 other beautiful Black Boricua artists, black Puerto Rican. Everybody's just Black in my opinion, but one is Puerto Rican Black and one is Black. So, American Black. Oh my God. Black people, come on, don't PC me right now.
I love it. I'm with you.
So thank you. So either way, we're coming together to buy a house together or a studio space for Black studio creatives in Baltimore to be able to provide services. We got graphic design under our belt. My homie Sabrina Mellow Vibe brand, shout outs to her. Myself and Diesel MC, Black Cotton Candy. That's writing workshops, that's singing, that's visual art.
Come on, plug.
You know what I'm saying? All of that. So we're literally about to put our brains together, our minds and spirits and money up to create a space together. So on the one hand, that means that we got to be very business partnery together. So we got to put that hat on. So we got to be all right on the love tip to be able to do this. Because you ever work with somebody that you love and some shit go to shit and y'all don't want to talk to each other that day, but you got business to take care of. It's about working that out. You got to be solid in that and know that you have a solid foundation in that to then be able to take on, like you said, the service orientation in terms of recognizing we're here for an even bigger purpose than ourselves and our love. You know what I'm saying? It's a love for community through this love vessel that we have here. So yeah, I think that's a huge form of intimacy and trust.
Money tied to it. That's definitely that's some intimacy right there. Your bank account. You got my routing number, my account number. That's it.
Yes. Yes.
Chime in. So I tried the polyamory thing, and I think it initially started from, I was a very late bloomer, and then I had to, date men because that's what I was supposed to do. And so it was easy for me to be open to poly with them because I didn't care what they did, because I really didn't want to be with them. So I was like, yeah, go hang out with your friends, hang out with somebody, because we're done, So I thought that polyamory could have been a way for me because I really wasn't being honest with myself, or not knowing at the time that I was really a lesbian and really desiring women. So it was kind of easy to go down that road. And then once I was like, okay, I'm not bisexual. I don't need to be safe for my family and let them think that maybe one day she'll go back onto the other side. No, I'm not going back over there.
Right.
I'm on this side. So, get with it. And so the connection with women, the intimacy was so much deeper than I ever had with men. So I was like, well, wait, then I shouldn't want to be with anybody else. It's so yummy. It's so delicious.
So juicy.
And then I've tried it with a couple of people and I was like, okay, this is not working. But now hearing it from you all, it's like, it was a little bit of what Uni said, a little bit of what Bree said, a little bit of what, so I was like, that is what it was. It was trying to heal and show you while you were going through that process. And so on this journey, and we'll talk about Tantra soon, I was like, okay, well, not about labels, but I guess if I had to be a label, it was more monogamous. But what freaked me out the other day is that I had a dream that I was in a relationship with two people that I actually know. It wasn't just, this whimsical whims. I was like, I know these people and they're currently in a relationship. I was like, what are you trying to tell me, source? So I said to myself, if I ever did decide to embark on it, it would be nice to start with an established couple who love each other, because I know me and know that I wouldn't be trying to steal them away. I don't want either one, you know what I mean? I don't want to break you up. I want to add to your love, your relationship. And so even being on this Tantra journey that we'll talk about soon, there's a lot of practices that you have to do. And some of it you can do single, but it does take, other energies to really learn a lot of the yumminess of it, because you need to get feedback about the energy that you're, feeling. So I think someone had a question or something down there that kind of related to that. So we'll see. And again, it's no labels, and I'm not a anything.
Show it out, honey. Get her. Get your best friend.
But yeah, so it's really not about labels, and it is about love. It is about community. It is about experience. It is about abundance. It is about communication and boundaries. And now I'm a different person because I'm coming from a healed place, as opposed to I'm fearful because I should be able to be everything to everyone. I think as Breeze alluded to, you don't need to be everything to everybody. You just need to be your authentic self, and the right people will come. Absolutely. And you'll have a great relationship with them, however it turns out.
That's true.
So yeah.
Yes. Y'all, I'm telling you, this is not the last you'll see of us, okay? Because there's so much. There's so much. We gotta I want to move on. Thank you guys for your contributions. We're gonna move into and we're actually doing really good on time. And because I know y'all see my little anal 8:14 to 8:43. So I have been fascinated by the kink world for a couple years now. And so under that beautiful diagram of non-monogamy, kink is a piece of that. And so I wanted to have that conversation tonight. And we have been friends for how long?
Long now.
16 years? We're old, 16 years. I love me some Breeze. That is my girl from Howard. Howard University. Bison. Sorry, sorry. HU. You know. And I love what you have been creating the past couple years. I first of all, anything you do, I'm here for it. That's already a given. But I really wanted to have you on to share your expertise around the kink world and your experience and what you can shed light on for us, especially as people of color. I feel like we just queer people of color as well. We just do things differently, and so hey, HU, you know, we just do things differently.
It's other vices.
You know, I feel like watching you over the years. I feel like I've seen. I'm sorry, I'm getting all caught up in these HU comments. Sorry, it's nothing like Howard University, y'all. I'm sorry. No. Anyway, so I definitely want you to share with the folks just some of your perspectives, some of your experience. I particularly wanted to include kink in this conversation around the intricacies of intimacy because I feel like, first of all, if you have no experience with the kink world in terms of just like understanding or knowing what it's about, get with it. I feel like it's so many beautiful opportunities and lessons, just like with polyamory. When I tell you, what I have seen and what I have come to know of the kink world, I feel like there's so many lessons that we can learn and take from how relationships work in that world, how negotiation works in that world, how using your throat chakra like in a way I've never seen before. Like it's phenomenal to me. And so, Breeze, I know we have some questions that we're going to ask you, but before we get into that, I want you to just kind of like give your elevator pitch about you in the kink world and kind of like, just share with the folks who you are in this world and what your kind of like come from is.
Okay. All right. My elevator pitch. I would say that I guess even though you haven't asked the question, I know the first question was kind of like just establish what is kink. And I think that's an important place to start. So I looked it up because I like definitions or whatever, and everybody's gonna go to Wikipedia anyway. And I actually like what it said. It said in human sexuality, kinkiness is the use of non-conventional sexual practices, concepts, or fantasies. And the term derives from the idea of a bend in one's sexual behavior, which I don't know, but to contrast such behavior with straight or vanilla sexual mores and proclivities. So I definitely think that is insightful. And then even beyond that, I would say that most kink falls under the umbrella of either bondage and discipline, domination and submission, or sadism and masochism, and exploring that safely, sanely, and consensually with partners. So that's kind of what I would like to just start with as kink. People in kink could go on and on about all these different ways that you can engage in kink, and that certainly isn't an all-encompassing definition, but I think it's a pretty good place to start. And I have identified as a kinkster, kinky person pretty much my entire adult life. So I found it when I was 17, kind of at the same time I was further exploring my sexuality and my attraction to women, and I found it in kind of a ladies chat group. Interestingly, the ladies were co-writing a story, and then people started writing in these BDSM dynamics.
Wow, that sounds fun.
Yeah, it does.
So the writer in me was like, "Ooh, I like this," and I, kind of joined in and then started looking for more information. And it's been an interesting journey for me, from searching things on the internet to coming out to family, moving from the Midwest Bible Belt where I am, a PK.
How did I not know that? I did not know that.
Because
Wow.
look at how I live my life. That's why you ain't know. But
Brandy said, look what Brandy said, Breeze.
But I see. Yeah. I was, because I go all in once I discover something that really that moves me. So from that period, very early, I was already hosting parties. for women of color who loved women. And
Y'all,
I had
if you've never been to one of Breeze's parties, I just feel sorry for you.
I ain't
Have
been.
you?
No.
Oh, he was right up here in Baltimore.
Man, whatever.
Oh,
I had the opportunity from that to then co-host with someone who really was already on the kink scene. Her name is Israel. And she presented the opportunity to host play parties. So parties where open play, sexual interactions, and sexual education could also occur on site where we were being social. And so we started hosting those exclusively for women. It started where I actually did one where I brought my crowd to an open gender event that she had. And just the dynamic of being in a space with hetero cisgendered men 15 years ago, basically, or maybe a little bit less than that. For me at that time, it didn't feel safe for my crowd. And that was definitely a priority for me. And especially if I'm introducing this sort of openness and this sexual exploration to women who are otherwise mostly vanilla in terms of how they were already interacting, at least publicly. I wanted to do that in a safe space. So then we found a separate space and got to host that for women. And yeah, and I did a lot of things. I wrote a blog for a while about different kink topics and sex topics, did a little blog talk radio, like all sorts of stuff. So I've been on the scene, basically. Been down for
She
forever.
true to this. She ain't new to this.
Yeah. And I just, I would say for the past 5 or 6 years, though, I definitely had been on a hiatus of sorts. And I would say in a bondage of sorts that was not consensual, in a relationship that really didn't give me a lot of room to be my authentic self. So
Tell me, I'm not just saying this because she was my friend. Everybody's saying the same thing, y'all. Just to be clear.
But I love. I'm excited because I've kind of reemerged, and you can find me on Instagram or Twitter under Sex is a Breeze. That's the same thing I've always gone by. Yeah. So now being more open again and exploring kink and being really transparent about my BDSM dynamic that I have with my partner. So that's exciting as well. A different kind of exhibitionism, if you will, for me these days. Yeah. Questions. Give me questions.
Yes. Before we go into questions for you, does anyone
classes?
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. No, but I can definitely refer some amazing sex educators who do classes in different
we want you, Breeze. We want your class.
Yeah, I don't want to go to my
I don't know.
We don't want the other people.
Get in my DMs and tell me what kind of classes.
I will, because I have some.
Maybe
some.
y'all have sparked something new that I could do. Because I would.
Bridget wants to know when the next party at, though.
I was so ready to start hosting parties again, and then COVID hit. And
Guess what? Let's start planning them. Now you have a whole bunch of time to plan. So they can be amazeballs.
I'm ready.
Does anyone else identify as kinky? And if you don't want to answer, you don't have to. But does anyone else?
I don't, but I want to learn. What was his name that was on Half Street that had to move? Oh, he had the kink club. And we used to do the Punani Poet show there every so often. Frazier. Frazier. Yeah, so I went to his club a couple of times by doing Punani and Poet shows. And so, of course, that's now built up and he had to go to a different location. So I was introduced to it through his club, but I haven't learned as much as I would like to. And I think it would be fun and interesting to explore.
Yeah, I do. I think do some kinky shit, but I want to do some more kinky shit. So I'm
more kink, more kink, more kink.
Yeah, I've been to, my extension of kink. I'm kink light. I've been to like play parties, and I'm an exhibitionist, and I think that's kind of my element to kink. I'm not the biggest person that likes physical pain. I'm not really, and I know it's not about pain, but it's about the consensuality of how much you are willing to tolerate and how much that goes into your pleasure centers. Just not my particular thing. But when I've been at like Whole Hive parties, for example, I did go to a few of those in the Crucible in DC. Shout out to them. Ironically, I didn't really have sex in the open like I thought I would. I just watched people and I got flogged for the first time. That was pretty fun. I've been to the Folsom Street Fair in San Francisco, which is the biggest kink festival in the fucking United States, as far as I'm concerned. Blocks and blocks and blocks of leather and lace and ass chaps and a lot of white penises. I could do without those, but to each their own. Do your thing. This is the only place I seen people getting naked and freaky in the streets. I took my shirt off as soon as I got in the festival. Felt great. Somebody put a nipple clamp on my breast. I was cool with it. You know what I'm saying? So like that level of freedom. I'm waiting for that kind of street party to hit the East Coast. Are we ready for that? We ain't ready for that. We're not ready for that.
I mean, New York Pride is it gets close.
True.
The actual Pride, not Black Pride, but actual New York Pride, it gets pretty close.
Very true.
Brandy said, "Kink is uniquely liberating for Black folk. My hope is all Black people experience it." I agree 1,000%, and not just Black people. Yes, because that's who we care about, but in general, I feel like in life, get your life.
Folsom is white as all get out. That's what and San Francisco just got even more whiter since then. But what I appreciated about being in that space was watching the freedom of people just literally what was happening there was not happening anywhere else in that city at that moment. And I was just like, damn, like I'm really amazed by this. I feel so open. I feel so able to just be myself and to like not feel like people are going to be predatory towards me. I didn't feel any of that. It was just like, hey, we all here. We're here. We're queer. We're fabulous. Like it was that kind of energy. So I would love to
love the queers, man. We just do things right. I'm sorry. It's just true. What I was going to say was that there is something unique and special about the level of safety that I don't know if it's because we are who we are and think we've been in situations that we've been in terms of harm and things like that. But in the kink world, what I have experienced in terms of Whole Hive and what's the place that they used to have at the Crucible, and the spaces I have been in that were queer kink places, never felt safer. No, like that, the predatory stuff, non-existent. The just not feeling comfortable, like I literally felt some of the safest out in life, like at clubs, at these places, because like it's like we take our safety seriously, and I really, really respect and appreciate that so much. I wanted to ask you this question, Breeze. What unique challenges has being a kinkster presented in your dating life, and has kink brought clarity or healing to your personal journey in unexpected ways?
Yes. So that's a two-part question.
2 questions. Sorry.
Yeah, and I'll answer the first is, as a young person who realized how drawn to kink, and in particular, for me, I really love domination and submission and exploring that dynamic within the context of my romantic relationships. And so I would say early in my relationships, it did present challenges because I wanted to make every partner my dom, and to establish a authentic and safe consensual dynamic like that, there really has to be more foundation, and there has to be a trust. There has to be some ethics. The person, especially who is in the dominant role, has to have a commitment to a very high level of ethics. They have to be committed to what is best for you. They have to be committed to, not only their desires and extracting that from you, but also to empowering you to be your best self. Like there's so safety. We're exploring that within the context of your intimate relationships. Those things are important to establish before you embark on that sort of dynamic. And, I was eager. I'm a little double Aries out here in these streets, and I just wanted to get right to it.
Jump right in
a lot of spaces where I was submitting to someone who hadn't earned that, and I was in dynamics where I'm posturing as someone's submissive or subordinate, and that wasn't what was best for me. That wasn't what was best for them or either of our growth in the relationship. And sometimes it would get the relationship into a stagnant place because I'm not, I'm not shining my light the way that I should. So that's definitely been a challenge. That's something I'm glad to say that I've outgrown, and that I am able to have a healthy DS dynamic with a partner who is deserving of my submission now.
Good for you.
For that, because that's the way that I like to experience kink, is in that sort
With
of
your
dynamic, more 24/7. So it's not just a sexual thing for me. It's really like how I like to show up. And interesting, that does relate to the second question, because I think that my kink identity as a kind of baby girl submissive really played a role in my journey discovering my sexuality as a queer person, as a bisexual woman as well. And I think it initially had me identify as lesbian for almost a decade.
A long ass time.
For a long time, right? I had to come out
like,
again.
What? You're not a lesbian?
I had to come out later. It was bisexual, but it had me identify that way because I realized growing up within the context of a biblical understanding of what relationships were supposed to be, and wives submitting to their husband, and that sort of gendered construct of intimacy. I resented that. I didn't want to be submissive to a man because I'm the woman in the relationship and he's the man. So I think that really turned me off to that side of my sexuality initially for most of my young adult and then early adulthood life. And it wasn't until I became more comfortable with, no, this is just who I am. This is how I like to show up in the world and especially in my intimate relationships. And I do have an attraction to men. So it just needs to be a certain type of man who's on the same page with me in terms of vision and understanding and acceptance of people. Like all of these things are important to where I can submit to someone who's not expecting it because they have these, in my mind, archaic ideas of how we should relate based on what gender we are or what sex we identify as in the relationship. So once I knew myself more, ironically through kink and as a lesbian woman, I was able to then embrace my whole sexuality. So it took a lot of healing, both spiritually, sexually, for me to get to this place where now I'm just this openly kinky bi girl.
And we love it.
So yeah, that would be my answer.
That's what's up. Once again, y'all, this is not the last time you're going to be seeing it. There's so much. I have like 20,000 things that I want, but not tonight. But I do want to ask you this one, because I think this is important. As kink becomes more mainstream in the Black community, what growth or changes do you hope to see?
It's so exciting to see kink become more mainstream in the Black community, to see it talked about, to see more spaces created for people to learn and explore it.
Absolutely.
Because I do think that there's a lot of healing that can be found through the exploration of kink. I think the one main thing that I would say is so important is I would love to see it empower more people, and especially more femme-identified people to be confident and communicative in their yeses and in their nos and in their boundaries, and expressing what exactly they want and what they absolutely do not want in relationships with each other and with whatever counterpart that they have, because I think that's such an opportunity for us, and it's something that's so essential for us to heal our relationships within our communities. Like there's no healthy whole relationship without enthusiastic consent, and a lot of we don't get to that.
Note taker.
We feel a lot of different things, different obligations, different guilt, different shame around pleasure and sex and what, things like that. So that's what I would love to see. I would love to see us explore pleasure more authentically, personally, and spiritually, and just really be comfortable and confident with our desires.
Yes.
That's shame.
Shizzle. That was good. Do you guys have anything you want to ask me? We have a couple more minutes before we move on.
That was a good question.
That was so great.
Yeah, it was.
That was.
Now.
Say that.
Bridget has a question, Breeze. I'm not sure exactly what. Do attachment styles correlate to kink in any way? I'm not exactly sure what she means around attachment styles.
Like
Bridget,
anxious attachment and avoidant attachment.
Bridget,
like
if you can clarify, that would be awesome so Breeze can try to answer your question.
I'm not fully. I don't
But
fully.
wait,
understand.
if she's saying what I think she's saying, I think it's a yes. If she's talking about in relationship attachment styles, possibly.
Yeah, I think that's what she means too. I'm not sure. But I agree, and I would agree that yes, it correlates. But again, kind of like polyamory, a part of the beauty of kink is the level of attachment or the types of attachment you experience in kink. There's no one size fits all. I have friends who are in romantic relationships with their partner. That may be fairly vanilla, but it's open to allow them to have kink experiences with others who have the same, who are into the same kinky things as them. And that relationship is purely that relationship may purely be meeting up and getting flogged or and having a degradation session. See, we start talking about kink. It's a whole lot.
It's okay. We got listen. I'm telling you, we got work. We got work. So much beautiful work to do. Hello.
Oh, come get her.
But no, I was gonna actually. It's funny that you bring it up, Reese, because I was gonna actually say, just for people that don't understand or know, I was gonna say one of the beauties that I think exists in possibilities in kink is that you can have your romantic relationship, your partner, and then you can have your kink ships. I like kink ships. And because once again, just like platonic intimacy, you're not making your partner be your everything, your all. Your partner may be as vanilla as they come, but you want to be choked and flogged. So go get choked and flogged, handle that, and come back home in time so we can have dinner and watch our show. Easy, handled, done. You know what I mean? Like, so also beauty of the possibility of having your romantic relationship also be, your kink ship as well, which I think is amazing and beautiful. Just so much possibility once you just be like, we're gonna co-create whatever we want to co-create. Like,
exactly.
Hey Donna, just one before we move on, Donna Mason, whom I love dearly, she wants to know what kink is. So can you just give a quick definition again before you move on? She wasn't in here for
let's do that. So I read one definition that I like, so I'm gonna read it again really quick because it'll keep me concise. And kink in human sexuality, kinkiness is the use of non-conventional sexual practices, concepts, or fantasies. The term derives from the idea of a bend in one's sexual behavior to contrast such behavior with straight or vanilla sexual mores and proclivities. And then we also kind of expanded that topic to include the umbrella of BDSM, which would be bondage and discipline, or domination and submission, or sadism and masochism.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, we gonna plan out the rest of the year with our different topics because this is too much goodness. We can't right now, but this is a question for the actual, just the intricacies of intimacy, the kink edition show. Talk about the degradation session. How do you identify your right kink relationship? Yeah, we're gonna get to the deeper topics.
Okay, put a pin in that.
I will. I'm gonna screenshot it so that we have it.
Okay.
Cool. So thank you so much, Breeze, for sharing all that goodness. Yeah, moving into that was lit, and it's so there's so much that I have. I know that'll probably be the next show. We'll start off with the kink edition because it's just so much.
Healing.
Huh?
I was just saying, like the kink, it's just so healing.
It is. Yeah. So yeah. Thank you, Breeze. So we are moving on to our last topic of this evening. I'm so sad because I don't want to leave this conversation, but I had to have Denise on because I've been fascinated by tantra for a while, and unlike the other topics, I don't have much knowledge or information. I just know that I've been drawn to it. It speaks to me anything kind of like Eastern anyway. I'm already like, kind of like tuned into. So the Love Oracle, I love that name. I love what you're doing. I love what's coming, what you're creating, which I'm gonna give you guys the opportunity to kind of just share with the folks what you have going on and coming up. But yes, we want to dig into this topic of Tantra and like have you give us all your tea about this wonderful space. Okay?
Yes.
We have some questions.
Yes.
What is Tantra? Share it.
I had to redefine Tantra for myself because I wasn't seeing myself represented in Tantra.
Come on.
Tantra is a living practice. If I could just keep it real simple, it's a living practice. But of course, it starts out like most of the stories, once upon a time, and in this place, it's 500 years ago on the coast. You know what I mean? It's talking about it originates in India, in Hinduism, in Buddhism. Okay, great. Thank you for letting me know. But I'm not Hindu and I'm not Buddhist. And so I think I shied away from it because I felt drawn to it myself, but I shied away because I didn't see myself. Then something happened and I was drawn back to it. I understand that source was guiding me in that direction. So now I get into Tantra and I only see heterosexual couples. I only see white people. And so again, I was kind of like, well, how am I supposed to get into this when I don't see me? And I said, oh, because I'm supposed to help people see it for themselves. And I'm supposed to start something where I can say it is for all of us. And so that's how the Love Oracle came about. It's a place where right now is really for lesbians and bisexual women. They can come to this place to learn about sex and intimacy and Tantra and all of that. And maybe at some point it'll, be the rest of our alphabet soup, but I'm going to stay in my lane for right now.
No, that's right.
With lesbian and bisexual women. But Tantra really is a living practice. It's the practice of raising up the energy so that you're able to handle this a massive earthquake, earth-shattering sex and intimacy. You're connecting with the cosmos. You're connecting with Mother Earth. And it isn't about just having orgasm, which is what we've been taught, right? So if you're able to get rid of those limiting beliefs about what you think a true relationship or true sex is, now you can connect to the cosmos and have orgasms for hours. But what you're doing is you're keeping that life force energy, that chi in the body. So now it's going through all of your chakra systems, all of your organs, and keeping you truly living longer. So when they say sex is great for you, it is when you practice it via Tantra.
How do I sign up again?
Okay,
Yeah.
you just email, session.
Yes, queer Tantra session.
Like all of you have talked about today in your learning and in your healing, we hear these terms and then we go head on and excited and full force. And along the way, we like a ping pong machine, we learn, this didn't quite work. So you're able to figure out what works best for you and cultivate it. So the same is true for Tantra. You can't go in saying, okay, I'm ready to have this amazing aha moment and open up all my chakras and awaken this Kundalini when you're not really ready for that type of energy to enter your body. It'll shatter you and crack you open in a million pieces. And then there's nobody there to help pick up those pieces because you did too much too soon.
Doing the most. When doing the most goes wrong.
Yeah. So it's a beautiful practice, but it starts with the simple meditation of doing qigong, which is really the life force energy, or like you see Tai Chi, being very slow in your movements, right? Just being okay with your body. And you can do that, by sensual dance and dancing and like stomping on the ground and connecting with the earth, saying, yes, give me that energy in my body so that I can experience all that wonder. And then give me that energy. Just going out to the moon is part of Tantra. And when you see the full moon, you're actually drinking in. You're drinking in all that the moon has to offer. So now that is in your body. So it's establishing and using all that's around you, knowing that it's living as well. Even a rock is living. And once you realize everything is living, you're practicing tantra, and you haven't even got to the good stuff yet.
Yes. Come on.
So it's been amazing.
This is church. It really is church. What are some of the healing benefits of tantra? You kind of tapped into that already, but if there,
reducing your stress, which truly healing your body and being in tune with the cycles of nature. So when you're in tune with the cycles of nature, you can almost sense when you're about to have an argument, and you can stop it in its tracks.
Not today, Satan.
It's true.
There are learning, just like we're currently learning about the chakra system, right? All the various colors, but there's so much more. There are things connected to your kidneys. So if you have fear because you want to try kink and you're not sure where to go when you open the polyamory, but your fear is there. Well, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to do a tantric practice, and we're going to focus on the kidneys. So you have this, I think, I can't remember, it slips my mind. I'm not sure if it's blue or green, the color, but you're imagining a blue or green ribbon. Please forgive me because I can't remember right now. A blue or green ribbon going through the tantras in your back, because that's where we store our fear. So you wonder why a lot of people are getting dialysis, because they're in a constant state of fear. So when you start to focus on the fear by having this color ribbon flow through your body and doing certain things with your mouth, opening your throat chakra, now you're healing your body through a tantric practice. And now you no longer have fear, and you can go out and attack it and really get into polyamory or kink without having the fear. So it's using different things than we already thought. And it's also removing the limiting beliefs about what you think love is supposed to be and how it's supposed to show up and how you're supposed to show up. So you're allowing something new to fill you up so that you can experience the wonder and beauty of it.
Wow.
All righty then.
How do you find out the body connected to the chakras and do you have a book that you recommend or something?
Right there, boo. I got you.
Because I need the parts of the body and the chakras and all.
It's a big thing.
I can come up with a list of books, but I have an amazing mentor who is like the guru of Tantra, and she's overseas, and another one in Canada, and they've just been like so amazing to help me understand these practices. And also, I also took some courses and classes for 5 weeks, and really helped me get the foundation. So now it's just about study and actually practicing. But I will tell you, so 2 things, these are like my 2 things I have to share with everybody, because they're like the thing that I love the most. Not a lot. Well, some people are quiet. You can't be loud because you have kids in the house or whatever the case may be.
We're talking about during sex, guys. Just by the way.
During sex. Oh, I apologize. Yes, during sex. So it's really focusing on the throat chakra. Something as simple as sighing will take but being intentional with it, because you sigh because it feels good and there's pleasure there already. But be intentional about your sigh. It's saying, yes, I deserve pleasure, and I'm expressing it through my throat chakra. And imagining that throat chakra color lighting up. And then when you do that, now your body is reacting to you saying yes to the pleasure. Not having to cover your face or cover your mouth or be quiet. No, I'm going to express myself, and I'm going to show you that it's pleasurable through just sighing. Something as simple as will change the experience. The other thing, and you all can Google this, it's called the microcosmic orbit. So it's about having that energy. You heard about the mic? Oh, you.
I'm typing everything.
I would say get that down, and the MI was already typed.
The microcosmic orbit. So we're starting at your perineum, which is, right between your butt crack, right? And it's coming up the back. It's coming up, the back of your head. And when you get to the top of your head, you're going to switch fingers. Well, your partner would do it. So as you come down the front, when you get to your mouth, you put your tongue at the roof of your mouth. and then you go down to your belly button and you kind of do this, you create this cyclical, is it cyclical? Anyway, you create a circle. And so if you're sitting in like the lotus pose because you're getting ready to do meditation, with your eyes closed, you could have your partner do that, and you will naturally feel this tantric pleasure without even having sex yet. You're creating this oceanic rhythm. And it's because you just by your partner doing this or doing all of the motions, they're connecting with you and they're helping you connect with yourself just by connecting all your centers along the top. So it's called the microcosmic orbit. And of course, we can have a class on that too, because it's all the points.
Virtually. Like, let's think about that, ladies. Breeze.
Listen, y'all see Breeze like, oh yeah,
We're gonna be in this thing for a minute. This whole quarantine, we need to come up with some virtual.
Yes,
we're gonna talk off camera.
And so this would have to be like we would be at your house, Nina, because you need to like sit on a pillow or a bolero in between your legs, right? So you're already propped up as if you're about to ride a horse. So your body can naturally do this jerk, and your partner is controlling your energy. So if they go faster, you'll go faster, and your eyes are closed. Slower, you'll go slower.
Yeah.
Now what was the name again?
Microcosm.
Don't shoot me them notes.
So I'm gonna email you guys the notes.
Yeah, do that. It's such a beautiful practice, and I was like, I want to see me. I want to see, people of color, brown people, black people, and lesbians and bisexuals experience this because I didn't see myself, and so I'm going to create it so that we can see ourselves.
I love all of you for doing exactly what Denise just said, creating these spaces for people that look like us.
Absolutely.
We get to
microcosmic orbit.
Thanks, Rakita. Love you. And all the areas, it's so important, I feel like, for spaces that are safe, that are protected, that we are celebrated to explore all of these different beautiful pieces of intimacy and love. I'm so grateful. I feel like there's some amazing stuff brewing here. I'm really excited.
Mm-hmm.
So do you guys, Denise, do you create videos? Rakita wants to know.
The thought has crossed my mind, but I try to be mindful due to the nature. Like they would need to be naked. I would need people who would be consenting to that, feeling comfortable being on video and doing that. And then making sure I'm providing that safe container where, only if you purchase the class and only if you have a password and only because I would want it to be a safe space. I'm definitely open to that, but I have to find a safe container to do so.
So what I see and feel is that we're creating a retreat in 2022. Is that what I'm hearing? Okay. Got it. That's gonna be lit, and y'all gonna eat some good food.
Yes, definitely in person because we provide the space. Hey, we come inside, we lock the door, and we have some fun. But it's hard on a video. It's a challenge.
I'm so excited and grateful. Does anybody have any questions amongst us that we want to ask or share before we?
So many. I'm
so
just
many,
gonna
right?
let this.
So just to be clear, your yes was an extended yes because this is goodness that gets to keep happening.
Black people need this, bro.
For real.
Tell you.
Yes, it's time.
I feel so full. I feel so full and so grateful. I feel even more expanded. I have even more questions and I'm
touch base with you all. Like, okay, can I take your thing? Can I take your thing? Can I take your
thing? Okay, so I don't want to keep you longer. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go from the top. So Uni first, Denise, Parker, and then Breeze, and just share with the folks where people can find you. If you have any projects coming up, any events, anything. I want people to know who you are, where they can support you, and where they can get any goodness that you guys have, that you've produced in the past, that you have now, or that you may have coming up. Okay.
All right. So hi again, Unique Michael, the resident Baltimorean in this building. So I can be found on Instagram at Uni the Looney. That's UNITHALUNI. Again, you and I, THALUNI. I'm around. I'm in Baltimore. You feel me? Come find me here. Black Cotton Candy. We're dynamic duo, musical project, artistic project. Coming soon, writing workshops and all kinds of workshops. Find us at blackcottoncandy.com, BLKOTTONKANDY on that, and Instagram. Stay tuned. We got a fundraiser going on, you feel me, for the BIPOC Creative Space. That's on my Instagram, the link in the bio. So hit me on IG for that. Yeah. Boom.
Yes.
A lot of other things, albums. I don't know. Just follow me on IG. You'll find out all the things. I do a lot of stuff. Yeah, Baltimore in this mother.
Right. And so guys, just put the business Cash App, all of these amazing souls said yes to me for free, and they all should be compensated way more. But I don't have it right now. But we manifested it. So if you would like to contribute to these wonderful souls, definitely send whatever gifts you have via Cash App to my business Cash App, and I will make sure that it is given to them. Denise?
You can find me on IG or Facebook, Denise Ford, DENYSE, last name Ford like the car. And soon I'll be launching the loveoracle.org. It's coming soon. I'm working on a website and branding and all of that thing. Yeah, I have a couple of events, but they're not sexuality based. They're based on business. And one is through Cassie Richardson, and the other one is through Iconic. The 16th is for Cassie, and the week of the 22nd is Iconic. But I hope to have some more sex stuff coming really, really soon. Again, due to the sensitive nature, I want to provide a safe space. So right now I'm just working with couples and singles one-on-one to help, facilitate more divine sex in their life.
Do you work with married couples?
I do. Actually, even though I want to be there for lesbians, most of my clients are straight heterosexual couples.
Yeah, we have so much.
So I can truly relate to what they're going through as well.
Got you. Thank you so much, Denise. The Parker Bryant.
Parker, that's my name. You can find me on IG at Being a Better Lover, all spelled correctly. As also Parker's Love _. I'm a writer, so I write stories to reshape the narrative of what it's like to experience healed love, but it's authentic. So, theparkerbryant.com.
Thank you so much, Parker.
All right, and I am Breeze Bennett. You can find me on IG, mostly on IG. I'm on Twitter too, but that's just for play. On IG, it's at sex, SEX is a breeze. All spelled how you would expect it to be spelled in English. And yeah, it's been so nice to share this space with y'all. Thank you so much for having me. If you do go find me on IG, you will see different pinup photography that I'm proud of, that I like
Beautiful
to share.
images.
Yes, yum.
You'll also see poetry. You'll hear poetry that I have shared there. I share stories there as well. I am also a writer. I write from, especially on Sex is a Breeze, from a place of erotic. So go check it out. I love to. And then DM me about these classes y'all want.
Yes.
We're going to get this together because, listen, y'all want to be sick of us because I feel some, listen.
Hey, can we all edit our names so we can put our IG on there since?
Oh.
Can you do that?
Yeah, you go to the little three.
Cool.
Can they see the chat?
On there.
Yeah, I was going to say, let's just put it in the chat.
Oh, they can see? Oh.
Yeah, we're talking to folks live right now. Denise, can you guys put it actually put in the chat, or only me?
No, it just says private chat for us.
Okay. It's me, Denise.
If you take that comment down, they could probably see us.
If or if it's not Denise Ford, is Ask the Love Oracle.
Oh yeah, it goes to Ask the Love Oracle.
Yeah, someone put mine in there. Thank you, Tashia. Hey, bro.
Ask the Love Oracle for Denise, guys. The retreat. Folks want to know when the retreat is. I'm saying 2022.
Yeah, 2022.
And I have my eye on this amazing Costa Rican resort space that does retreats. So
For real?
yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Impaloa is the name of it. So
Hey.
yeah. Anybody else need to put
You
their
can put my joint in
yes.
UNITHALUNI.
No.
Yeah. Yep. And I'm a whole professor. Book me for
Oh,
things.
Professor Micah.
I do stuff and writing and performances and all that shit. So yeah, I'm here.
And then Sex is a Breeze. That was pretty easy to remember. D. Parker. Will we put in Being a Better Lover, Parker, or
Either or.
you ready to do Parker's Love?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So y'all fancy.
Okay.
Okay. Tell me what yours is. I didn't even know. I was an auntie mode for real. I don't want to leave you guys.
we gotta do like the recap, you know, like when we go backstage and shit like that. Like we need one of those.
Who saw me with Mel? Hey, shout outs to Mel Lewis in this piece. That's right. You know Mel. Wow, small world, man. Yes. Mel is one of my big homies. They're my mentor at Micah for real. So I'm glad you know that. Hey, that's what's up.
So next, the next thing we have going on the Love Dynasty on Monday. So financial wellness is our newest addition to our wellness brand. And so on Monday, we have our third Money Making Monday. We're going to be talking about tax-free retirement. So definitely join us for that. Same platform. It'll be here on Stream Live on the Facebook page. So definitely set your timers, your reminders for that for Monday, Money Making Monday. So thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
Out. I'm going to go cry in the corner. Thank you, guys. I look forward to this expanding and growing. Thank you guys so much for joining us. You guys were awesome. Some awesome questions, awesome energy. Thank you for giving us feedback and letting us know that you really appreciate and enjoy what we have been offering. And so have a wonderful, blessed night. Have a great weekend. You earned it. You deserve it. Turn up in your house. Thank you guys so much. I love it, all of you so very, very much. And I will speak to you guys soon. Peace.
All right. Bye, y'all. Peace out.